It's different than and so on. Okay? So whenever they're there, applied to music, they do not just alliterate and balance the verbs, but they have a harmonic and vocal technique function.
Lascerà l'ossa ignude.
Bravissimo. You really accomplished all this with the recording only?
Yeah.
That saved us a lot of time. I love that archive because, you know, it's there for a reason, and when people use it, I feel so accomplished. Zafiro, zafiro, instead of zafiro, zafiro. And this is Petrarca. I mean, this was all built around this diction facts that were to be exported places, okay? So in this case, since you, as you correctly said, you have the double option for a zeffiro or a zefiro, which is still an Arabic word from sifr, which is the wind. Anyway, in this case, if he chose one, it's because he didn't want the F sound to be terribly prominent in the phrase. Also because zefiro torna, il bel tempo rimena. It's springtime, you know, it's a sweet breeze. It's not a harsh wind, which would have called for a double F. Or when someone is crying, you will have lots of double Fs that may match with other double Fs or mandatory doublings of single Fs in some other places around the verse, or in the following verse, or sometimes with S's. In this case, it's not balanced anywhere. Zefiro torna, il bel tempo rimena, I fiori all'erbe, sua dolce famiglia. You have two Fs and they're both playing. So the answer is yes, it was on purpose, from my point of view. We can take to work this on the score if you want to, especially if it has, I don't know the madrigal, but if it has the doctored rhythm that you just marked for me, actually the single F helps the purpose. Another consonant that may match a doubling of the F easily is in fact the Z, especially the sweet. It would be more sticky in a way. It would give another tempo to the dance. So to me is more euphonic. In this case, the way I don't see a reason for doubling that F.
Okay.
Giove s'allegra di mirar sua figlia. He does balance the double L with a GL. And in the next verse, you have l'aria e l'acqua e la terra e d'amor piena. You always have a balancement. Okay, it makes perfect sense. E cantare augelletti e fiorir piagge. First you have it in the first verse of the terzina. E fiorir piagge. And then, e le belle donne onesti, atti soavi sono un deserto e fere, recalls the first e fiorir. Aspre selvagge, and then the double S strengthens further the blowing of that F. So here it makes total sense.
Teseo mio, sì che... Is this doubled?
It's doubled for two reasons, because si is tonic, it carries an accent and is a parola tronca, and also because there is punctuation and there is a comma. Sì che mio ti vuol dir che mio pur sei.
Sì che mio ti vuol dir.
That is not doubled because it comes after T. A personal form ending in an I. Sì che mio ti vuol dir che mio pur sei.
Sì che mio ti vuol dir che mio pur sei.
One more time. Both mios are doubled because you will double after both case. Although one is a relative pronoun, or better, it is an object pronoun. Si, che, that, I want to call you mine, che, because you are still mine, although, and so on and so on. So there are two different ke's, but we double after any ke. Any type of ke. We don't double after any type of se, but we do double after any type of ke. Because that's just us, I guess. Sì che mio ti vuol dire che mio pur sei.
Sì che mio ti vuol dire che mio pur sei. Benché ti involi hai crudo agli occhi. occhi miei.
Ai crudo, ai crudo. In this case, the strength is in the KR cluster. So you'd rather stress it with a schwa in between. Ai crudo, bene che ti invogli ai crudo. Just as in modern Italian, we would say starran. Ai crudo. Interesting because we double after come, so it's se tu sa, double S, with the double T in the middle. Se tu sapessi, oddio, se tu sapessi come s'affanna. Se tu sapessi come s'affanna. See how he balances, even here, the double S with all the others. Se tu sapessi come s'affanna la povera Arianna. And the double N is mashed in Arianna. But Oimè is plain.
Se tu sapessi come s'affanna.
Oimè, cross it. Oimè.
Come s'affanna la povera Arianna.
That you need. Se tu sapessi come sa. Se tu sa come sa. Se tu sapessi come sa fa. Se tu sapessi come sa fa. Just parrot me once without looking at the words. Se tu sapessi come s'affanna.
Se tu sapessi come s'affanna.
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 One more time. Se tu sapessi come s'affanna.
Se tu sapessi come s'affanna.
I don't know how people who don't work with me handle this stuff. Seriously.
Well, somehow. I mean, and you listen to Italians, Americans, anyone really, and everybody does it differently, and most of them really wrong.
Lucky Monteverdi. Okay. It took you 40 years, but I am almost 44 as well. So all you needed was for me to start doing this type of work consistently, because, you know, no one does it publicly and online so systematically and I want to say structurally as I do it on the language. So it's not your fault, it's mine. Not only comes from the poetic source, but the poetry was already a form of musical notation to portray the musicality of the language. That was, voi che sapete, voi che ascoltate in rime sparse. People had to physically hear what the language sounded like. That was the main purpose of poetry. So all of the alliteration and the diction hidden in it was a very bare, primitive, not so primitive form of music notation.
Right. Just singing, and then they add some words, almost like an ornament.
If you just read the foreword, the premise that Jacopo Peri wrote to the Euridice, he states it. Imitar col canto chi parla, ma da pigliar forma di cosa mezzana. We don't have to get too far from the spoken word. Il canto discenda tanto dall'armonia del parlare da pigliar forma di cosa mezzana. It was so deliberate. In this paradigmatic case and early case, as it's true also for Cherubino, whenever you have a chromatism, whenever you have a chromatic passage, most times it will be stressed by a doubling, and so will be for example, a passaggio di registro. The physical grip of the doublings and of the syntactic germination is often used like an instant curtain to hide behind when you have to do either a strong passaggio di registro due to a strong interval, or to linger on a chromatic something. So it's different than and so on. Okay, I just wanted to wrap it up on this thought. If you have this pattern structure to cling to, ultimately not only the exportation of the mere sound of the language, but also the memorization. Ottasio mio, se tu sapessi, oddio, se tu sapessi come s'affanna la povera Arianna.